All right, this is the penetrometer. So when I push on the end of this, it's gonna change that gauge. And so the deeper that this goes without hitting 300 psi or above, the deeper your soil is, which means the deeper the roots, which means the more volume of soil which you have, the more life you have, the more microbial activity, the more water is infiltrating your soil, increasing water quality, doing all the good things that we want to see, the more aeration is happening in your soil. Soil needs to breathe. I think people forget that a lot. So soil effectively has lungs by way of the pathways of water infiltration coming through and then pulling down air back into those voids as the water infiltrates through. If the water can't infiltrate, it is literally like suffocation for the soil because the water has nowhere to go. It is filling all the voids. No air can then come in. So we have water infiltration. We also have air infiltration, and we forget the second half of that often. Air is super important for the soil and all the constituents in there, which is probably obvious, but worth just highlighting there. So if we went around the farm and I did this all over the place, we're gonna see anywhere from this kind of thing where I almost fall over. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are 3-inch increments, so 21 inches. So we'll see anywhere from that to I will barely be able to go the full 3 inches on some of the land that's new to us because it is so compacted. In other words, that is, you could have rooting depth that is only this deep. This is land that we've just begun to touch and graze on versus land we've been on this long, where, like I said, I have some that's 36 inches, which is really fantastic. The best way to think about this is the way I've started to talk about it more and more, and other people do, and I really like it, which is like land and soil is not two-dimensional. It is three-dimensional or multi-dimensional, meaning that when you think about an acre, you're only talking about a surface area. What if we started to talk about acres and volumes? And therefore, how much land do you have? And if I referenced a volume, that is a completely different thing. So if I'm managing on 400 acres, but I have 3 inches of soil, versus if I manage on 400 acres and I have 36 inches of soil as an average throughout that, that is a completely different volume of soil that we're working with, completely different plant community that we're working with, completely different ability of the land to hold, drink water, breathe air, do all the things that land should be doing.